Good Saturday morning, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to this week's episode of What Every Cruiser Wants. We are back. 3 new cruise comments for you this week. And each one of these comments, they get better and better as you go along, because there's some situations on some cruise ships happening this past week. So let's jump into today's comments. Now, an argument can always be made when it comes to the Serenity area. Should it be 18? Should adult areas on cruise ships be 18, or should they be 21? You know, Carnival Cruise Lines, the Serenity area is 21 and above. Not everybody agrees with that. They make an argument that 18 is an adult. Maybe they should lower that age down to 18. Like I said, an argument could be made for that. But you don't have to be rude. You don't have to be nasty. You can try to get a point across with just, being polite about it, but not this person. BS. You are obviously ignorant then, because in this country, 18 is considered an adult. You are no longer a minor. You can serve your country like my daughter does. You are emancipated from your parents. You can get married. And in my opinion, you should be able to sit in the Serenity area. Had they written this comment politely and nicely, I would say it has some validity, and then you could make an argument that, yep, here in the United States at 18, technically, you are an adult. Yes. You can serve in the military. You can get married. You can go off on your own. All of that is perfectly true. But you know where you lose me? You know where they lost me? The very first sentence, when you start off with, obviously, you are ignorant. Well, guess what? If you want anything done in this world, you can't do it by starting off with, obviously, you're ignorant. Maybe it's you that's ignorant. You can't understand the very simple concept of, this is why I think perhaps we should consider changing this. Here are my reasons why. Please take this into consideration. And if enough people agreed with you, they probably would change it. But again, when you start off anything with, obviously you're ignorant, obviously this went right in the trash and I read no further. But let me throw it over there to you guys, so we can ask the actual question that should have been politely asked here was, do you think that on Carnival Cruise Lines or any cruise lines that the age to get in the adult areas, do you think it should be 18 or do you think it should be 21? Do you think as soon as they hit 18, they're going to be mature enough, quiet enough, and peaceful enough to be in the adults only area? Or do you think they should keep it the way it is? I even saw some comments on this that suggested they raise the age limit. Some people wanted it raised up to like 30 before they could even get in the adults area. But you guys let us know. What do you think about the age requirements in adult-only areas on board cruise ships? Now, we've had this type of comment before. Comments that involve around natural type disasters. Whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a snowstorm, whether it's tornadoes, they happen all around the planet, all of the time. It seems like there's always some type of natural disaster going on. And of course, thoughts, prayers always go out to those people involved. Yes. It's not their fault. But you know who else's fault? It is not the cruise line's fault that you had a natural disaster. And again, the people write these comments into John Heald, the brand ambassador, who lives over in Europe. He lives in the UK. That doesn't mean when he flicks on the news in the morning, I'm going to guess BBC, and that's what they watch over in UK. For the most part, is an assumption, by the way. I don't actually know that. But they flip on the news over there. Are they necessarily talking about something that is going on in one of the states in the United States all the way on the other side of the planet? It's kind of a big assumption for you to think that that is what is happening each and every day. But no matter what happens in their town, no matter what happens in their city, no matter what type of disaster it is, they automatically think that John Heald, the brand ambassador for Carnival Cruise Lines, is supposed to immediately hop on and start holding their hands about it. And somehow, the cruise lines are responsible. You think I'm kidding? Let's take a look at this one. Why has there been no assistance offered to us passengers due to crews from Galveston and affected by the largest fire in Texas history? Governor Greg Abbott issued a disaster declaration for 60 counties. I expect you to be there for us. You have said nothing. You have done nothing. I have a cruise on Jubilee on Saturday. Full refund should be offered. Comfort and support should be offered. What do we Texans get from you? Answer, nothing. But you will help someone who wants free stuff. What a blank. Gotta get that rudeness in there. We live in Texas, and the whole first day this was going on, they did not even show it on our local news the morning that this was even going on. They didn't even start talking about it until the next day. And we live in the state.
Yes.
Okay. So again, you're assuming that a gentleman that lives halfway around the world heard about it and didn't reach out to you. He even said, well, he didn't even know it was happening until he got this type of comment. So I've said it once. I've said it twice. I'm going to say it a third time for those in the back who apparently never ever listen. Cruise lines are not responsible for things that are going on in your town. Carnival or any cruise line did not start the fire, cause the hurricane, make the snow fall from the sky. Now, of course, as Texans, we lend our support, we lend our love, we lend our prayers to our fellow Texans that are in this wildfire. Because yes, this is affecting people here in our state, but it's not the cruise line's fault.
No.
You can't expect the cruise line to jump in. What do you want them to do? They should issue refunds? Nope. Guess what? That's called your travel insurance. That's why you buy travel insurance. Something happened, you can't make your cruise, you have to cancel. You have travel insurance. I'm so tired of people going, well, I didn't get travel insurance, and now there's a fire, a flood, a snowstorm, or this or that. You should refund me because of this reason. Well, let's actually go back and ask the original question here of why didn't you get travel insurance? That should be the actual question that's asked. Stop expecting the cruise lines to have anything to do with things that don't have anything to do with cruising. And stop expecting a man halfway around the world to have a clue what is going on in your town until somebody tells him. Seems pretty easy. Seems pretty simple. You'd think they'd get it through their heads, but this isn't the first time we've even had this kind of comment. And finally, we have comment number 3. Now, I'm actually going to start off by saying comment number 3 really isn't rude. Comment number 3 really isn't nasty. Comment number 3 can be considered a valid opinion. All that up front. I do not agree with the comment whatsoever. I have a completely different opinion than the comment, and we got to have a little backstory before we get to the comment. Otherwise, the comment won't make any sense. So this past week, John Heald, brand ambassador for Carnival Cruise Lines, was on a cruise. He was on board the Carnival Horizon, doing his yearly cruise with all of his fans. It is disembarkation day. Now, down in the atrium area where you disembark, they tell you, don't be here. Go be somewhere else. Go wait somewhere else. Go to your designated waiting area, sit on one of the upper decks, but you are not supposed to be right there in the atrium waiting to get off the ship. They want to keep that area cleared. So according to the story, 30 minutes before they even started disembarkation, apparently there was this guy. He was standing, boom, right there, right where he is not supposed to be. One of the Fun Squad members goes up to the individual and says, basically, hey, you can't be here. You've got to go. Now I'm going to read this because I want this to be very clear. This was his response. F off back to where you came from. I'm American and I can do what I like. That was what this individual said to the Fun Squad member. F off, I can do whatever I want because I'm an American. Yeah, that's a really good attitude to start off with. Not like we haven't heard that one before.
And we wonder why people don't like Americans.
You're right. You wonder why people in other countries laugh and don't think that highly of Americans. Well, here we go. So that Fun Squad member went over and told the cruise director. The cruise director was standing there with the hotel director, the human resources director, and John Heald. So John Heald decided he was going to go talk to this individual. He says when he starts walking up to this individual, he says the guy starts puffing out his chest like he's tough, like he's ready to throw down, and says immediately to John Heald, "You gonna make me, bro?" Right off the bat. That's how he starts the conversation with John. "You gonna make me, bro?" He starts telling the gentleman, hey, look, you're not going to talk to crew members that way. It's not going to happen. It's rude. It's disrespectful. It is against Carnival policy. You're not going to do it. You think at this point, did the guy say to himself, oh no, I've done something wrong. I've been a total horse's hiney. I should apologize. I should say I'm sorry. I should go where I'm supposed to be, to my designated area. Do you think that's what he did? Oh, no. He decides he wants to keep it going. He then suggested to John Heald that he have sexual relations with his mom, called him an obese Euro trash, and that if a certain man returns, that John Heald will be deported. That one I find, how are you going to deport someone who's in the country legally? He was supposed to be here. He was allowed to be here. How are you going to deport someone who's supposed to be here? John Heald is not illegal. So you're rude, you're nasty, and you're stupid. Awesome. It's like the trifecta of dumbass. So for all of his wonderful efforts that this individual decided to put into not wanting to leave his spot to get off the ship, he has earned himself a lifetime ban from Carnival Cruise Lines. They let him disembark the ship, and they said, you will never set foot on board these ships again. Between you and me, they let him off easy. I would have had security drag him down the gangway by his ankles. But that's me. I wouldn't have been like, okay, well, we're just not going to let you cruise anymore. No, I would have helped him off the ship immediately, gangway or no. That's just my opinion. You don't treat crew members like that. It is absolutely against Carnival's policy to treat crew members that way. You can't talk to them that way. You can't act that way to them. They should have drug his behind right off of that ship. Actually, I think they went the nicer route by even letting him walk off under his own power. But that's just my opinion. I'm not as nice as John Heald is, believe me. That's the backstory. And that leads us into the comment because, believe it or not everybody thought Carnival did the right thing. Not everybody thought that this guy meant to do the wrong thing. I guess that is the best way to put it. Someone suggested that Carnival should rethink their way of doing things because what if he had mental illness? As a person who struggled a great deal with depression and spent way too much on self-help and trying to square peg myself into the round hole of the mountain psychological cliche available, I think it was plain wrong for this Carnival passenger to be banned. You cannot help yourself if you do not know the self you are trying to help. He obviously had mental health concerns, and you and Carnival should take this seriously before thinking about not allowing him to come back to Carnival again. Think again, John. You're wrong here 100%. This comment wasn't rude. It wasn't nasty. It's just a difference of opinion of the way Carnival did business. But I don't agree with this comment at all. I know mental illness is a real thing. I do know people struggle. There are things that people need to get help with. I completely get all that. But you know what? I don't know that this is necessarily a case like that. I'm sorry. I'm leaning less towards mental health problem, and I'm leaning a lot closer towards, ass clown. That's just my personal opinion here. And I know we don't swear a lot on this one, but some of these people, they just get me fired up.
To me, this one seemed more like he had a bad trip, he had a fight with the family, and was just... Because he's standing there with his luggage by himself in the middle of the atrium. I'm seriously doubting he was there by himself.
He might have been. He might have just had a bad cruise. Maybe it was his first cruise, and he hates cruising. But Carnival has a zero tolerance policy. I'm sorry. And he told the crew member, F off, go back to your own country. He then suggested to the brand ambassador he do sexual things with his mother. Then threatened to have him deported. And after all that, I think Carnival should have banned him. I'm sorry. I don't think there's an excuse for that. And I don't think you can use mental health as an excuse for acting that way, for having that kind of attitude and running your mouth in that way. Maybe he was just having a bad day. Maybe he was the perfect and nicest person the whole rest of the cruise, and something happened that morning that just set him off. But you know what? There are consequences for your actions, and in this case, Carnival said, you will never cruise with us again. Me personally, I happen to agree with it. I don't think you can claim it's mental illness. I don't think Carnival is wrong. I think they are 100% right. And like I said, had it been me, his consequences would have been even worse. But let's throw it over there to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think Carnival was right in what they did? Do you think the ban is a good thing for what he said in the way he said it to crew members on board the ship? Or do you think the person who wrote this comment could be right? Do you think he has a mental health problem? The cruise line should reconsider what they've done because they were 100% wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Which side of this do you guys fall on? And that's going to be our video this week for what every cruiser wants. I hope everybody's enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. You don't want to miss videos when we're talking about dragging people down the gangways by their ankles for suggesting sexual things with people's mothers. Hope everyone has a really great day, and like always,
we'll see you out on the high seas.